There is something about you that people cannot quite figure out, and whether they say it out loud or not, they notice it every time they see you. They look at you, study you, and quietly wonder how you are still standing the way you are. They wonder how you still carry yourself with confidence, how you still have light in your eyes, and how you still seem so strong after everything life has put you through. The truth is, many people expected your struggles to leave a visible mark. They expected your hardships to show on your face. They expected your disappointments to make you look exhausted. They expected your heartbreaks to make you cold, guarded, or distant. They thought the weight of everything you experienced would eventually become too much to carry. They assumed that life would wear you down the same way they have seen it wear down so many others. But when they look at you now, they do not see what they expected to see. Instead of defeat, they see resilience. Instead of bitterness, they see wisdom. Instead of someone who has given up, they see someone who keeps moving forward. And that difference is what captures their attention. Some people may have even commented on it. They may have told you that you look different. They may have said you seem stronger, brighter, calmer, or more confident than before. They may not even understand why they feel that way when they look at you. They just know that something has changed. What they are really noticing is not just your appearance. It is your energy. It is your presence. It is the way you carry yourself through the world now. You have been through things that could have easily broken your spirit. You have faced challenges that tested your patience, your faith, your confidence, and your sense of self. There were moments when you felt overwhelmed. There were moments when you questioned your path. There were nights when you carried burdens that nobody else fully understood. You know what it feels like to keep going when you are tired. You know what it feels like to smile while carrying pain that nobody can see. You know what it feels like to feel lost and still find the strength to take another step forward. Those experiences changed you, but they did not change you in the way people expected. Many people believe that suffering always leaves a person weaker. They believe that difficult experiences permanently damage someone. They think pain automatically takes away joy, confidence, and hope. But your story has shown something different. Your struggles taught you lessons that comfort never could. The challenges you faced forced you to discover strengths you never knew you had. They revealed parts of your character that only pressure could uncover. They taught you how powerful you really are when everything around you seems uncertain. Every obstacle became a teacher. Every disappointment taught you something about yourself. Every setback showed you that you were capable of surviving more than you once believed. And little by little, those experiences built something powerful inside you. You became more aware of your worth. You became more careful about where you invest your energy. You became more selective about the people you allow into your life. You learned that not everyone deserves access to your heart. You learned that protecting your peace is not selfish. You learned that your value does not depend on someone else's opinion of you. Those lessons changed the way you carry yourself. That is why your presence feels different now. There is a quiet confidence about you that cannot be faked. It is not arrogance. It is not pride. It is not the need to prove anything to anyone. It is simply the confidence that comes from knowing who you are and understanding what you have overcome. People can sense that. Even when you say nothing, they can feel it. They can see it in the way you walk into a room. They can hear it in the way you speak. They can feel it in the calmness you carry during situations that would once have shaken you. That calmness is powerful because it comes from experience. You have learned that not every battle deserves your energy. You have learned that not every opinion deserves your attention. You have learned that peace is often more valuable than being right. And because of that, you no longer react to everything the way you once did. You move differently now. You think differently now. You see yourself differently now. That transformation is what people struggle to understand. Some of them are searching for visible proof of your pain because that is how they understand growth. They believe that suffering must always leave obvious scars. They believe that hardship should make someone appear broken or worn down. But your strength does not look the way they expected. Your strength shows up as patience. It shows up as maturity. It shows up as self-respect. It shows up as emotional balance. It shows up as the ability to remain kind without allowing people to take advantage of you. It shows up as the ability to stay hopeful even after disappointment. It shows up as the courage to keep believing in better days even when the journey has been difficult. That kind of strength cannot always be seen with the eyes, but it can absolutely be felt. And that is exactly what people are feeling when they look at you. They are feeling the result of every lesson you learned. They are feeling the wisdom that came from your hardest seasons. They are feeling the confidence that was built through experience. They are feeling the peace that comes from finally understanding that your worth was never dependent on circumstances. Some people will admire this about you. Some people will feel inspired by it. Some people will look at your journey and realize that healing is possible. But there will also be people who feel uncomfortable around your growth. Not because you have done anything wrong. Not because you are trying to be better than anyone else. But because your strength reminds them of areas in their own lives where they still feel stuck. Your peace reminds them of the chaos they have not yet resolved. Your confidence reminds them of the self-doubt they still carry. And your growth reminds them that transformation requires effort, honesty, and courage. That is why your presence can have such a powerful effect on people. You are living proof that difficult seasons do not have to define a person's future. You are proof that pain does not always win. You are proof that challenges can create strength instead of destruction. You are proof that a person can go through storms and still come out with hope intact. So if people seem fascinated by you lately, if they seem curious about what changed, if they keep wondering how you managed to become stronger instead of weaker, understand that what they are noticing is not simply your appearance. They are noticing your growth. They are noticing your resilience. They are noticing the strength you built when nobody was watching. They are noticing the wisdom that came from your experiences. And most importantly, they are noticing the quiet power of someone who refused to let life's hardest moments determine who they would become. That is your real glow. That is your real strength. And that is why people cannot stop noticing you. Why are people so surprised that you're still standing strong? The answer is simpler than you think. There are people who expected life to affect you in a very different way. They thought the challenges, disappointments, setbacks, and emotional burdens you carried would eventually show on the outside. They expected your struggles to become visible. They thought your confidence would fade, your energy would become heavy, and your spirit would slowly lose its light. They assumed that after everything you have been through, you would be walking around carrying the weight of it all for everyone to see. But that is not what happened. Instead, you held on to something that many people lose when life becomes difficult. You held on to your sense of self. You held on to your value. You held on to the belief that your circumstances do not define who you are. Even during moments when you doubted yourself, even during seasons when you felt lost, there was still a part of you that refused to give up completely. That inner strength is what people are noticing now. There is something about a person who knows their worth that cannot be hidden. It shows up in the way they carry themselves. It shows up in the way they walk into a room. It shows up in their eyes, their posture, their energy, and even in their silence. When you truly understand that your value is not determined by your mistakes, your past, other people's opinions, or the difficulties you have faced, you begin to move differently through the world. You stop apologizing for existing. You stop making yourself smaller to make other people comfortable. You stop chasing approval from people who never intended to give it. You stop questioning whether you deserve good things. And that shift changes everything. People can sense it without you saying a word. They notice that you are no longer carrying yourself like someone who is waiting for permission to be confident. They notice that you are no longer constantly seeking validation. There is a calmness about you now. There is a quiet confidence that comes from experience, growth, and self-awareness. What makes this even more powerful is that your strength does not feel forced. You are not pretending to have everything figured out. You're not acting perfect. You are not putting on a performance. The strength people see in you is real because it was built through experience. It was built through lessons, setbacks, disappointments, and moments that could have broken you but didn't. That is why your presence affects people. Some people feel inspired when they are around you. They see someone who has faced challenges and kept going. They see proof that difficult seasons do not have to destroy a person. Your journey reminds them that growth is possible, healing is possible, and a better future is possible. Without even realizing it, you become an example of resilience. Not because you are trying to teach anyone anything, not because you are trying to be admired, but because your life reflects a truth that many people are still trying to learn. It shows that strength is not about never struggling. Strength is about continuing to move forward despite the struggle. But not everyone responds to your growth in the same way. There are some people who are deeply uncomfortable with it. These are the people who expected a different outcome. They had already decided how your story would end. They believed the pressure would eventually break you. They thought your confidence would disappear. They assumed that your challenges would leave permanent marks on your spirit. So now they watch closely. They study your words. They study your actions. They study your energy. They look for signs that you are secretly falling apart. They search for evidence that you are struggling the same way they are. They want confirmation that you are not as strong as you appear. But every time they look, they find something unexpected. They see peace where they expected chaos. They see confidence where they expected insecurity. They see growth where they expected defeat. And that confuses them, because your existence challenges what they believe about hardship. Many people have been taught that suffering must leave visible scars. They believe pain should permanently change a person for the worse. They assume that if someone has been through enough difficulties, eventually they will become bitter, angry, defeated, or hopeless. Yet here you are proving otherwise. You have experienced challenges, but you did not allow them to define your identity. You have faced disappointment, but you did not allow it to steal your hope. You have encountered setbacks, but you did not allow them to convince you to stop moving forward. That is what people are truly noticing. It is not just the way you look. It is not just your confidence. It is not just your success or your progress. It is the fact that you carry a different kind of energy, and energy that comes from knowing who you are and refusing to let life's hardest moments take that away from you. And the energy is powerful. People feel it when they speak to you. They feel it when they watch you. They feel it when they share space with you. Something about your presence reminds them that they also have a choice. They can choose to grow instead of giving up. They can choose to heal instead of staying stuck. They can choose to believe in themselves instead of allowing their circumstances to define them. The truth is, your strength was never meant to make everyone comfortable. Some people will admire it. Some people will learn from it. Some people will be inspired by it. And some people will question it because it reminds them of what they have not yet found within themselves. But none of that changes who you are. Keep standing tall. Keep trusting your journey. Keep walking with confidence. Keep becoming the person you were always meant to be. Because every day you continue to move forward with strength, peace, and self-respect. You prove something powerful not only to yourself, but to everyone watching. You are living proof that difficult seasons do not have to define a person's future. You are proof that challenges can create wisdom instead of bitterness, strength instead of weakness, and confidence instead of fear. And that is exactly why people cannot stop paying attention to you. Have you noticed how people keep sensing something different in you, even when you are not trying to prove anything? Every day you show up with peace instead of panic, strength instead of desperation, and light instead of bitterness. You are silently sending a message. You are showing people that pain does not have to destroy your spirit. You are showing them that hard seasons do not have to leave you permanently broken. You are proving that even after disappointment, pressure, betrayal, or sadness, a person can still rise with grace. That is what makes your energy so powerful. You are not pretending that life has been easy. You are not acting like nothing ever hurt you. You simply refuse to let those painful moments become your whole identity. You may have cried in private. You may have carried battles nobody noticed. You may have questioned why certain things happened the way they did. But even through all of that, something inside you stayed alive. And now people can feel it. Some people look at you and feel inspired. Your presence reminds them that healing is possible. They see that a person can go through difficult things and still remain soft, kind, confident, and full of life. Without even speaking, you give them hope. You make them believe that maybe they can rise too. But not everyone will understand your glow. Some people expected you to look defeated. They expected your struggles to show on your face, in your posture, in your energy, and in the way you move through the world. They thought life would make you bitter, insecure, or desperate. So when they see you standing tall, calm, and steady, it confuses them. That is why they analyze you. They wonder what changed. They wonder how you are still smiling. They wonder why you are not begging, chasing, explaining, or falling apart. And because they cannot understand your strength, they may try to find something wrong with you. They may search for flaws just to make your growth seem less real. Maybe someone has told you that you are glowing. Maybe they said you seem different. Maybe you wondered whether it was a compliment or a hidden judgment. But the truth is, they are noticing your transformation. You are different now because you understand your worth in a deeper way. You know that what happened to you does not define you. You know your pain is not your identity. You know your value was never taken away by what you survived. And the more you believe this, the less you need to prove it. Your energy speaks. Your peace speaks. Your presence speaks. So when people stare, question, or talk about the change in you, remember this. They are witnessing someone who went through pressure and still kept their light. Have you noticed how people seem to be looking at you differently lately? There is something about you that they can't quite explain. It isn't just the way you look, the clothes you wear, or the life you appear to be living. What they're really noticing is the energy you carry. You have started to understand your value on a much deeper level. Your worth is no longer tied to your past, your struggles, or the opinions of others. That inner shift has changed the way you move through the world. What stands out the most is the sense of freedom surrounding you. You no longer seem weighed down by every challenge or every setback. Instead, there is a quiet confidence and peace within you that others can feel. And that can be both inspiring and unsettling. People who are still searching for themselves often notice those who have found a stronger sense of direction. People who are still fighting inner battles can't help but wonder how you remain so calm and grounded. The truth is, your strength comes from everything you've learned and overcome. You have grown through experiences that could have broken you, yet you chose growth instead. Keep trusting yourself and walking in your truth. By simply living authentically, you are showing others that healing, confidence, and freedom are possible. You are not responsible for the choices others make, but you are responsible for fully embracing your own path. And that alone has the power to change everything.